Good day to one and all. This is Dr. Sivaraman of iknowindices.com. Let me display the PowerPoint presentation. Asian session live market analysis on October 11th between 5 and 5:30 GMT. Sorry for the delayed start. So we'll be tracking the market using the live market code page. Given the link for the same, you can open it in a browser. I'll fix the camera over that of the live market code page. Now you can see the current market levels. Euro is trading around 1.33973, 1.3975. The low is 1.3959 and the high is 1.4010. We come across 37 pips positive net change. In the case of GBP, on Friday it was closing firm and it has made a nominal dip now when Euro is gaining levels, mainly to gain the levels in the case of Euro GBP. So GBP is trading around 1.5939, 1.5942, 1.5929 is the low, 1.5969 is the high, 22 pips negative net change is seen. On Friday, USDN breached below that of 82 and it came down to 81.70 area, and then subsequently today during the Japanese session it has come down to 81.39 and then went up to 82. 82.35 is the high, and then again it is hovering around that of 82 area. So you come across the intervention story is not coming yet. So it is showing a nominal positive net change of 0.6 or 6 pips. Then in the case of Swiss franc, and it was showing last week 95.50 area, and then it has come to about 96.13, 96.16, and 95.89 is the low, 96.47 is the high, and a 13 pips negative net change is seen. So a nominal dip is seen in the case of CHF of 13 pips when Euro has gained about 37 pips. So you can understand that they could hover around this level and gradually gain the levels in the case of USD today. And in the case of Canadian dollar, 1.0106 and 1.0110 are the current level, and below that of 1.01 area it has formed the low 1.0094, and then the high is 1.0112. You come across a very narrow spread of about 15 to 16 pips, and the net change is 1 pip negative. And in the case of Australian dollar, current level is 0.9858, 0.9861, 0.9857 is the low, 0.9905 is the high, and the net change is showing wrongly. I think there is a problem with regard to the live market code page in Australian dollar. Like last Monday, it is having a bug and not getting corrected when it starts by 00. So it is actually about the Friday closing was about 0.99 and it is about 30-32 pips negative net change. So these are all the current levels of the market, and it is a US holiday. So you could come across thin volume conditions in the market, and the players could make use of this particular time to handle the crosses. So Euro GBP is trading with a positive net change of 34 pips. After dropping from 88 area to 87, it has climbed back again to 87.76 high and trading around that particular level. And similarly in the case of Euro CHF, Friday it has closed negative, and now you come across 17 pips positive net change. So it was trading below that of 1.3380 area on Friday, and now it has come to 1.3432 as a high, low 1.3476 as the high. And in the case of Euro Yen and GBP, you come across a very nominal swing. Depending upon the strength of Euro and GBP, they are making the moves, and USD is contributing very little gain or the loss to that of the Yen crosses. So you find the Yen crosses also making subdued moves in the market. So you come across initially some sporadic moves, and especially some of the moves which are like contrarian moves, Euro gain and GBP dip, and also Euro gain and Yen gain, These are all the contrarian moves, and you come across Euro gain 36 pips and CHF has gained last only 12 pips, and then both Canadian dollar and the Australian dollar showing negative net change. What is shown here is wrong. I'll show it in the other live market quote page, which is taken from Street. There you can see the level in the case of Australian dollar. 0.9859, 0.9860 are the level, and it is 38 pips negative net change currently. So you find Canadian dollar as well as Australian dollar are showing negative net change, indicating that they are handling the crosses. So let me minimize the slide and go back to that of the window and go back to that of the PowerPoint presentation. So what are the expected moves for today? During that of the Japanese session, swing and form of moves are expected. Euro could gain and go closer to that of the high during that of the end of Japanese session. Then again, a quick gain during that of the European session, early European session, and little bit of slide towards the close of the European session. Then swing and form of moves could be seen during that of the US session. So swing and gain moves may lead to aggressive gain moves in this particular week. So you may come across the shift in trading, further shift in trading zone would happen in this particular week. So avoid doing sell and buy trades in the currencies and try to do buy and sell trade, buy during the dip and try to keep stop at entry, and with the gain, when the new high is not been breached for more than 30 minutes to 2 hours, try to book profit again, wait for the next drop. That way you can try to do the trades, and they are going to do the shift in trading zone. If you are caught vulnerably on the wrong side, then you might find it extremely difficult to come out. Probably the waiting period will be long. Then with regard to the initial lows and the highs, Euro formed the low of 1.3959, which is intact, and the high is 1.4010, which is also intact. And in the case of GBP, 1.5929 was the low, and currently it is trading near that of the low, and probably they may come up to that of the low and then gain back again or make a brief downward stop on APX, and 1.5969 is the high, which is intact. And normally in the case of GBP, they make a downward stop in order to create the market sentiment sometimes. Otherwise, if the traders are already holding sell positions, then they may not do a stop and instead they could do a false move coming closer to that of the low and then gain back again. This they are doing currently in order to gain the levels in the case of Euro GBP, but they are sellers actually. They are trying to build the sell positions in the case of Euro and GBP. Because of that, they are just doing this sort of contrarian moves. That is gaining levels in the case of Euro and dropping levels in the case of GBP, mainly to gain level in Euro GBP. Then in the case of USD CHF, they came to the psychological level 0.95 and 9589 is the low, 0.9647 is the high, which is both are intact. So market is making subdued moves, probably because of the holiday feel. So during the day, let us see how exactly the volume picks up. And in the case of yen, they made a new low, 91.39, and that shows that it is a little bit active when compared to that of the other currencies during the Asian session. And 82.35 is the high, and that is also intact. Currently, it is staying in the middle level or closer to the high, around 82 level. So it is expected to gain some levels, but we have to see whether it is able to go above that of 83. Probably the intervention story may come or may not come, but still you could come across the trading in denominator currencies might be patient testing game. So avoid taking positions there and try to focus on Euro and GBP. Because of volatility, you should be able to get good profit in them. And other denominator currencies, they make one-sided moves for 1 or 2 days, so it will be really hurting your patience. Then Australian dollar, 98.42. 98.53, sir, you typed it up. 98.53 is the low, 99.05 is the high, and currently showing a nominal net change. It has come closer to that of 98.53, and we can just watch how exactly they are handling the low, and then subsequently they are expected to gain the levels. But in the case of Australian dollar, as I mentioned in that of the blog, this is the only currency. They are not taken to that of the psychic levels like uh, above parity. So in the case of CHF, they brought it below parity, and yen, they shown it to the multi-year lows, similar to that of how exactly Euro and GBP they showed the multi-year highs in 2007-8 a time frame, and then now they are focusing on the denominator currencies, and you know that at that time they took Canadian dollar to 0.90 area, so only the left out things are now yen and CHF. They have handled it almost. Then Australian dollar, they could just try to accumulate the buy position and take it below that of the, above that of the parity, and create all the hypes in the market. So it is not new to the market that one-sided gains or one-sided loss or drops happening in the market, and the players are making such that sort of extreme moves, and you find that earlier they did the extreme moves in the case of crude, taking it to 142 area. Then now they are doing it in the case of gold. They are taking it to 1363 area, 64 area, and silver also they are taking it to 2350. So all the extreme levels they are showing it using their money power, and the traders thinking that it has come to all-time high and trying to sell, they are getting trapped vulnerably and they are forced to do the short covering. So it is better to avoid trading in such currencies which are in extreme levels, because they could show further extreme levels rather than trying to show some profit. So when they are using that sort of tactics, better avoid taking positions in such currencies so that you will not be hurt badly, because we are all here in the market to make money rather than trying to develop any sympathetic feel towards any particular currency. So there is no question of feelings or sympathy involved in the market. You know very well the players are very, very virulent and crude. So in the case of USD CAD 1.009 low, which is intact, 1.0112 is the high, which is intact. You can find how subdued moves are happening currently during that of the week beginning. So it shows that certain amount of fatigueness among the traders. They do not know which currency to choose and things like that. Already Euro and GBP has run up and things like that. And if you wait patiently, you will come across the opportunities emerging again in the market. So market rewards always patience, and whenever they are handling it at the extreme levels, avoid taking positions in such currencies like USD, CHF, USD, yen, and instead of taking a position, taking position and waiting for the BOE or SNB to intervene, you don't anticipate anybody to come for your rescue and try to take positions and earn quickly the money in the case of the numerator currencies like Euro, GBP and Australian dollar. Let me minimize the PowerPoint presentation and focus the camera over the live market port. I focus the camera over the live market port page. Obviously, people had the problem in logging to that of the FXstreet.com. So obviously, I may not expect much questions. So I'll try to explain it again. Due to the holiday, what do you think is going to be the spread? So obviously, even in normal days, you find the spread is gradually getting reduced because of the lack of conviction among the traders in participating in the market. So in a holiday time, probably you could come across subdued moves in the market. So they may show little bit of action in the case of euro and GBP, but other currencies may not make much of moves today, I suppose. All right. Is GBP going to breach the last high today? Yeah, there is a potential. Euro and GBP could show some psychological levels from the European session, but sustaining those levels, we have to see whether they will be able to do it today because of the lackluster volume. See, they do not want to simply gain the levels, and they want to accumulate the positions and gain the levels. So for that, they will try to hold, and just when the traders liquidate the long position, only then gain about 20-30 pips and hold it. Then the traders short it, thinking that it may not rise further. Then they rise another 20 pips. This sort of moves they are doing it. So it is actually slow intentional move. So intentional moves are always slow moves. You find slowly they gain the level. So when they gain levels in that way, that means all the selling they are absorbing. So when they are absorbing all the selling, they are not forced to liquidate it at lower level. So we have to understand that they wanted to gain further levels and just book profit. So this is a normal scenario you come across during shift in trading zone. Only thing is in the case of yen, CHF, they have made the extreme levels in shift in trading zone. Obviously, the turnaround should happen there. But in the case of Australian dollar, that is the only currency they are not taken to the extreme levels. So this time they could target that as well. So keep in mind that don't do sell and buy trades in the case of Australian dollar. So I will focus the forecast page again. So expected market moves, swing and firm up moves during the Japanese session, and European session, upward swing and then slow slide would happen. So probably the market might end around the current level or slightly above or slightly below. That sort of thing could happen during end of European session. Then slow firming up move could be seen during that of the US session. So initially weak beginning you could come across the gaining move slowly. Then later on it may lead to aggressive gains. So let me give the forecast for the entire week. So today, because of the US holiday, there could be some subdued moves, and during that of the late European session, there could be a dip and little bit of firming up during that of the US session. The volume is very low, then they may hold it. Then tomorrow they are expected to make an upward gap opening and then gain the levels during the day, and they are expected to aggressively gain during the Japanese session and make a little bit of swings during European session and further gains during the US session. So you could come across some more gains and trading above that of the psychological levels in the case of Euro 1.40 and GBP above 1.60 could be seen by tomorrow mostly, or even it can happen today briefly during the European session, but probably due to holiday there may not be for the gains. But on Wednesday you could come across again volatile move as a midweek move. So there could be a good either way moves happening in the market or could happen in the market. So a quick drop and a quick gains could be seen. Then on Thursday and Friday you could come across very aggressive gaining moves in the market. So keep all those things in mind as a guidance and accordingly take or plan your trading and take your decisions wisely rather than trying to do counter trade just when they are trying to do shift in trading zone. So with regard to the initial lows and the highs, they are not breached the high or the low in any of those currencies, Euro, GBP, CHF, Yen, Australian dollar. Again, they are not breached it, even though they are closer to the low, and Canadian dollar also, they are closer to the low. So you find that nominal contrarian moves are happening in the market. So as the day proceeds, probably we'll be able to understand what their intentions are. So till this time, I take my opportunity to thank everybody who have come here to listen to my talk, or those who are listening from the recorded version of this particular webinar. And I'll come back again tomorrow and explain more about the Asian session live market analysis the same time 5 GMT. Thank you one and all for patient listening. See you again tomorrow. I'll post it in the blog early so that those who are not able to attend this would be able to see the forecast for the day. Thank you one and all.